And so that is the communication from the president. So we are trying to find out a mechanism of how to make this operational. Because one, if I get 10 applications, that is okay. Normally, the average actually is 10 applications. Normally, on a daily, I get 10 lawyers requesting to get permits because they have urgent matters. Now, that is easy. But if I get more than 30 lawyers that have urgent matters, how do we deal with that? So we're trying to see how we coordinate it with the judiciary and the executive together with Uganda Law Society, so that we have a formidable solution where people don't feel discriminated against, where people are allowed to practice their trade for purposes of emergency and not as a going concern. And so that's what we intend to do. Justice Medada, in his guidelines and directives, he said that judges should use this time to write pending judgments and rulings. Unfortunately, we seem to see the same hardworking judges delivering rulings and the same lazy judges seated and doing nothing. Now, this is a caution to my lords who are in the High Court, Supreme Court, their worships who are in the Magistrates' Court, that there is no excuse for you to fail in your role to deliver judgments and rulings. Now you cannot use time as an excuse. The era of having time as an excuse, oh, backlog because of time, oh, backlog, has come to an end. Write those rulings, because we're going to have an era of mention and shame. And we shall mention you, and we shall shame you, especially if you've not adhered to your call as a judicial officer of writing judgments. That is your role. You have a judgment. There are some judges who've had judgments pending for up to 4 years. What is so magical that a judgment should take 4 years? There are even some who lost records, and we have our lawyers documenting these things. So at first we thought, oh, backlog, they are busy, this is understood. But now you have the time, because lawyers are not working. You are not hearing new cases. This is not the time to be on Netflix. This is the time to actually work and deliver judgments. Yeah. I think the presidential directive was misunderstood. The president did not say 30 lawyers. You cannot, I mean, we are 3,500. You cannot give permits to only 30 lawyers. How do you even select the 30? How do you even determine the 30 lawyers? But I think what the president, and from clarification given by him, meant is that at every given time, there should be 30 lawyers roaming. That means those 30 lawyers, all the 3,000 members are eligible for as long as they have an urgent matter that has been cause listed. Now, practice has not been opened. People think that practice has been opened but for only 30 lawyers. No, practice remains closed. But as long as you have an urgent matter, you'll be aided with movement. Now, the lawyers we see that are most needed in this time are lawyers that represent criminal suspects. For instance, those that have been arrested, those that are going to be arraigned, because you have a right to representation, those whose bail applications are going to be made and whose bail applications are going to be heard. So those are core services. You can't do away with them, because criminality is a going concern. It continues, and those suspects have a right to representation. But we also have civil society actors that ensure that human rights are not violated, that people are not caned, are not killed, are not hurt, are not tortured. Those are very important because they monitor our human rights situation. We also have people that, again, are in civil society, lawyers that deal with issues of domestic violence and harmony. And those are also core, because now you have gotten everybody and put them in one room. That is a recipe for conflict for many. So what the president said is, yes, all lawyers have a right to work, but we cannot unleash 3,000 lawyers on the streets at a go. So for as long as lawyers have an urgent matter, they should be aided to move. But in